The following program is the work of the broadcast students at the British Columbia Institute of Technology. BCIT Magazine features news stories from around the Lower Mainland which were produced over the last week. Responsibility for the content of the show rests completely with the students and their instructors.
Today on BCIT Magazine, after a marathon wait, news of a tentative deal for teachers begins to unfold. A new development project could see 12,000 new neighbors in Burnaby. And a new form of birth control for men may be available in less than 5 years. Hello and welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Shannon Waters. Our top story today, expert negotiator Vince Reddy may finally have the BCTF and provincial government in agreement. After 4 painstaking days of negotiation, a tentative 6-year deal has been reached. It includes a 7% wage increase and gives more money to address class composition concerns. Although a deal was struck Tuesday morning, parents and media were left waiting for more details, causing anticipation and suspense. Kyle Taylor explains.
This is the scene outside of a Richmond hotel where camera crews waited as long as 9 hours before hearing any news regarding the latest from the negotiations of the teacher strike. I'm here in Richmond, where a tentative 6-year deal between the BCTF and the BCPSEA was struck just before 4 a.m. this morning. It is now almost 12 noon, and some of the camera crews behind me have been here since 3 a.m. waiting for any further updates. The province's chief negotiator, Peter Cameron, spoke regarding the tentative deal and the future of the relationship between the two sides.
I'm happy that we've got a settlement and look forward to having this thing behind us and a period of time where the parties can repair the relationship and look forward to doing what the parties are supposed to be doing with the education system for the kids in the province.
BCTF President Jim Eicher granted media a quick photo opportunity between talks, but remained tight-lipped about the deal.
I'm not making any comments. I know you're respecting that. Okay.
If a deal is struck between the two parties, parents could see their kids return to school as early as Monday morning. Kyle Taylor in Richmond for BCIT Magazine.
In other news, here in Burnaby, a member of Parliament is helping the public participate in the National Energy Board's hearing for the proposed Kinder Morgan pipeline. The proposed $5.8 billion pipeline would run through Burnaby Mountain, a popular spot for hikers. NDP MP Kennedy Stewart's office has volunteers showing the public how to voice their concerns online.
The construction will be the size of the Canada Line, and it'll go through major urban neighborhoods, including Burnaby. So really, the public has a big interest in whether or not this project goes through.
Volunteers have been walking people through the complicated online process. The public has until the end of the month to share their opinions with the government. Burnaby residents may also be seeing changes to the city's skyline. A developer is introducing a plan to transform an unused parcel of land with hopes to revitalize the area. Daniel Stevens reports.
At the Edmonds Community Centre, City of Burnaby planners showed locals the early stages of the Southgate Master Plan development. I asked City Planner Johanna Schumann about the sort of densification the area should expect.
There is a potential between 18 to 20 high-rise buildings in addition to the low-rise and mixed-use commercial components on the site.
The area of the site is roughly the size of 2 BC Place stadiums, and with an expected 6,400 housing units being added to the area, the once abandoned lot will need to accommodate the equivalent of a sold-out Rogers Arena every day. And one of these teachers is a resident of the area and is skeptical of the added population.
Concerns that I would have, mainly as also being a teacher here at Burn Creek, would be the concern of just any traffic and how that would look like, and just a lot of people being in the community, and yeah, how that would interrupt the daily flow of things. I mean, already kind of getting in and out in the morning is definitely a bit of a challenge.
And when I asked Johanna Schumann if the city had a plan to accommodate potentially 12,000 more cars in the area,
Essentially, when we plan for communities, we start from a pedestrian-first point of view. It sounds, in some cases, kind of ludicrous that we discount vehicular traffic, but really, when planning these neighborhoods, we first think of how are people going to get from their units to their employment, to their services, and first and foremost, it should be within walking distance. That's why we plan these as mixed-use centers.
and while the project is in very early stages, residents like Mina will have to attend city council meetings to make sure she doesn't sit in gridlock. Daniel Stevens in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
Yeah, missing mug.
Coming up next on BCIT Magazine, practicing yoga may improve recovery for cancer patients. And a Vancouver man raises money and awareness for diabetes.
I chose BCIT because I know that all the programs are very hands-on. We have our own radio station, like it's one of the best programs that I've ever heard of.
I am starting a job on Monday, so confidence is high.
Honestly, I didn't think it was going to be this fun.
A defining moment for me was when I finished my first internship and got lots of really great feedback from industry professionals.
I would have never imagined I'd be walking into the floors of TSN and thinking, I'm not a student anymore, I'm here to work.
I will be starting a job with an investigative news program in Toronto, and I'm really excited to see that grow into what will become, hopefully, my dream job.
BCIT broadcast and online journalism, putting you to work.
Welcome back to the show. It's been more than 30 years since Terry Fox started his run across the country to raise money for cancer research. Today, cancer patients have more options for treatment and more knowledge about how to maintain their health. Reporter Zach Singer met up with a local woman who practices yoga in the hopes of improving her recovery.
Susie Mers was diagnosed with a type of blood cancer nearly a year ago. Once she regained enough strength after radiation treatment, she began practicing yoga.
Doing yoga helps me to kind of reconnect with my body and be in it and find out where my limits are now with what I can do. It's a reconnecting, I would say.
The yoga classes she attends at Inspire Health Clinic are specifically geared for cancer patients.
We like to start with a nice relaxation to help them forget about their day, and then slowly move into some easier postures for a nice warm-up, and then move into more challenging postures just for a short time of the class. And we always offer options to make everything a bit easier. And then we finish with a nice long relaxation and a wind down.
Susie says her strength is building each week, and recent medical studies seem to support the positive effects of yoga on cancer patients.
There's a growing body of evidence research evidence that yoga can be very helpful in the context of cancer to improve quality of life and physical health. And more broadly, the research on exercise shows that exercise engagement, once you've been diagnosed with cancer, can have a substantially positive impact.
Patients like Susie could reduce their chances of recurrence by up to 50%, according to Dr. Gunn, by maintaining physical exercise.
Just nice and slow.
Beginning to feel physically stronger, and I'm able to do more of the poses and hold them longer and so on, but then also just feeling a bit more grounded emotionally and mentally.
Susie says her regular yoga classes are the moments in her day when she can feel truly peaceful. Zach Singer in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
In other health news, BC Minister of Health Terry Lake has announced a $3 million grant toward arthritis research. The money will go to the Richmond-based Arthritis Research Centre of Canada. And a Vancouver man with type 1 diabetes is frustrated provincial legislation does not cover some of his medical costs. Because he is over the age of 25, he has been forced to turn to crowdfunding to replace his broken insulin pump. Francesca Lucia has his story.
Makes me feel not diabetic sometimes.
27-year-old Dave Ladner has type 1 diabetes and needs to wear an insulin pump every day. But when his insulin pump stopped working last month, he couldn't afford $7,000 to replace it. Ladner decided to take to social media to help fundraise for a new pump.
I was hoping to sort of try and seek out ways to help supplement the cost at least. And I decided a lot of stuff happens with crowdfunding these days, so maybe see how it would go, and it kind of exploded.
His goal was set for $4,000, but to his surprise, it was topped in 30 hours.
I was looking for help, not for a hand-me-out, I guess.
The fight for insulin pump coverage across Canada has been going on for years.
It is certainly something that we advocate for, and we continue to advocate for at the Canadian Diabetes Association. The insulin pump actually does it for you, so it works quite differently than when you inject yourself. It just injects an insulin, and so a short-acting insulin, so it's a different type of insulin, 24 hours a day.
Now, it was just last February that the BC Health Ministry expanded coverage for insulin pumps to British Columbians 25 years and younger from the previous age of 18 years. Now, insulin pump coverage varies across the country, and right now, Alberta and Ontario are the only provinces that fully cover insulin pump costs. In a statement from Health Minister Terry Lake, he says BC is a leader among the provinces when it comes to tackling the issue of diabetes. And while insulin pumps are not covered after age 25 in BC, Pharmacare does cover other related equipment. Dave Ladner is not only happy he was able to get a new insulin pump, he's happy to make people more aware of what it's like to live with diabetes. Francesca Lucia in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
A Canadian study has found that the high cost of dental care in Canada is keeping patients away. The study found that 6 million people a year avoid visiting the dentist because of high costs. Canadians spend almost $12 billion annually on dental care and hygiene. A U.S. company has announced that it hopes to have male birth control on the market as early as 2017. Earlier this week, I visited a clinic to see how a long-term male contraceptive could fit into the world of pregnancy prevention.
A simple injection of vasal gel could be helping men control their fertility in less than 5 years. But the procedure involved has some men squirming.
No.
While there are currently many methods available for contraception, all long-term forms have one thing in common.
Pretty much puts the whole contraceptive process onto the woman.
Nicole Pasquino works at Options for Sexual Health. She says both genders are often frustrated with the shortcomings of current birth control methods.
There is nothing available for men except for condoms. Oral contraceptives over the lifetime of a female prior to childbearing, it can be thousands and thousands of dollars.
BCIT student reactions to the possibility of a male contraceptive were mixed.
Yeah, I think I might be able to consider male contraceptions.
I think it's a great idea. I think it's everyone's responsibility.
No, seriously, no. God, no.
Yeah, I think it'd be great putting the responsibility, on both people.
The pharmaceutical industry makes billions of dollars every year selling contraceptives to women.
That's part of what's so interesting about vasal gel. It's being developed by a non-profit.
The Parsimus Foundation plans to begin human trials in 2015, providing they can find enough men willing to undergo the brief but rather uncomfortable procedure.
A doctor makes a small hole in the base of your scrotum, reaches in with a pair of forceps, pulls out your vas deferens, then uses a needle to inject a polymer gel, which coats the walls of the vas deferens, killing any sperm that pass through it. Then they stitch you up and slap on a bag of frozen peas.
While there's some general support for male birth control, a lot of guys are squeamish about the procedure involved. Luckily, they'll have at least a couple of years to get used to the idea. Shannon Waters in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine. I'm Shannon Waters, and that's today's BCIT Magazine. Thanks for watching.